As of the recording of this video, 10 people were shot, a few more were injured, and all are expected to survive. The suspect is still at large and police have identified a person of interest. When did attacks like this become accepted as normal? This is Rebel HQ. I'm Sandee Lovas. Another horrific attack. No doubt leaders will send their thoughts and prayers. Media figures will say this has happened so many times, there's nothing left to be said. Some people will push for gun reform, while others will say, now is not the time. Not all the details are known about who did it and why. We'll hear about the heartbreaking experiences of people on the scene. And before this story is concluded, another horrific attack.
Oh my God.
I'm Canadian. I've lived in Canada all my life. Not once have I been worried about being shot. I never have to think about the what-ifs of a mass shooting while in public. We're not perfect up here, far from it. I've worried about other forms of violence at events. We have our fair share of unhinged people who want to do harm. The biggest difference between our two countries? Guns. I can already see people typing in the comments saying, "Shut up, you're Canadian. You have no business telling us what to do or commenting on what's happening here. Go back to drinking maple syrup and riding your moose to the store." I'm not going to tell you what to do. Most people watching this already know what needs to be done. I'm going to add perspective and remind you that what's happening there isn't normal in the rest of the world.
Oh my God!
Canada is no stranger to guns. Folks here love their hunting. For every 100 people, we have roughly 35 guns, which may seem like nothing to you sitting at 120 guns per 100 people. But in no other country are there more guns than people. To point out how extreme that is, at 35, we're in the top 10 for gun ownership, with the overwhelming majority of ours being long guns. Even with all the gun-toting, syrup-drinking moose riding up here, mass shootings are significantly lower than in the United States by whichever metric you want to use. In March alone, you've had 52 mass shootings. In Canada, we've had 22. Since 1970. There is no consensus on what a mass shooting is, so when I scoured the internet for information, the criteria I used was 3 or more injured with at least 1 death, or 5 or more injured with no deaths, not including attacks specifically targeting law enforcement. Yeah, sure, keep over policing Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples when it's white men taking you out. Now tell me, if we applied my standard to shootings in the United States, how many more do you think there would be? I'll admit the number I came up with is probably an undercount. Then again, so is yours. Trying to figure out what kind of shooting should be included in my definition felt cold. Putting mass shootings into stats and numbers so we can get a better handle on how bad the problem is takes the humanity away from the situation. For every mass shooting, there are lives taken, people just trying to get by, thinking about what they need at the grocery store or looking at funny memes on Twitter. There's the people who are injured who may never be able to go back to a life of dancing or holding their children. And on top of that, the crippling medical bills that may be looming over them for the rest of their lives because your healthcare system? Yeesh. There's the trauma everyone goes through at the scene, injured or not. The PTSD that will disrupt them every time they hear a loud bang or someone yelling in a crowd. And there's the people who made panic calls to loved ones to make sure they were all right. Some of those calls going unanswered. This is something I will probably never know. Most of the people in my country will probably never know. How many Americans already know? And despite everything I just said, I can see people furiously typing in the comments section. It's not the guns that are the problem, it's the people. Don't blame the good gun owners for the actions of a few. We have our Second Amendment right to own something which its sole purpose is to kill another human being. I know I'm going to get attacked for this video. You guys are so sensitive about this. One thing I've learned as a Canadian is not to get into an argument with Americans over guns. Nothing will get them as belligerent and verbally abusive as an outsider telling them what to do with their guns. Please, feel free to lodge your complaints in the comment section below. When it comes to guns, people from no other country responds the same way as Americans, and people from no other country contends with mass shootings the same way as Americans. I'm not saying the two are necessarily connected, but your American exceptionalism is exceptional. After a major mass shooting in Canada, there is talk of guns. This has led to changes. Not all the time, but we take a critical look at how it happened and examine if something needs to be changed or if it was just the actions of a bad person with a gun. We have regulations on gun ownership that the vast majority of people feel are reasonable. People are screened when they apply for a gun license, and those with a history of mental illness or domestic violence are likely to be declined. So it's less likely a person going through a mental health episode or impulsive anger can get one. People here feel like their rights are being taken away more when asked to wear a mask than they do when it comes to gun ownership. So what's the answer? There is no one answer, but you already know that. There needs to be a shift in culture. This idea you need to look out for yourself and only yourself needs to change. You need health care, a government that isn't constantly rolling back your rights, common sense gun laws. And just a suggestion? If someone is threatening to shoot you if you try to take away their guns, they probably shouldn't have a gun. Working towards these goals can't wait until tomorrow. For the people in Brooklyn and the millions already affected by gun violence, tomorrow is too late. But you already know that.
The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old.
We all put our hands on other people's shoulders, and then our teacher held the first person's hand and she let us out.
For more of my stuff, look for me on social media as Left of the Box. Don't forget to hit buttons, I know I sure do, and leave the comments. Thanks for watching, and until next time, get informed, get involved.